Perfect. Hi, I'm Rosie Gremmert. I'm a Diamond in doTERRA and one of the experts that's here to teach you and present to you this weekend when we're doing our DIY Gifting Summit. We are super excited to gather here with you guys, to gather virtually and just spend some time hanging out. And so please comment on the videos, invite your friends into the group, share. We're just all longing for some together time, and this was our solution, was to just share some of the fun things that we like to make and have a virtual space together, right? So tonight I am going to teach about passive diffusers. And I know sometimes people hear that and they're like, what's a passive diffuser? So a passive diffuser is anything where you put the essential oil on and then it just evaporates on its own. So there's no machinery or heat involved or anything else to have that diffusion of the essential oils going on. So one example of a passive diffuser is, I've got things spread out all over the place. This is just a simple necklace, right? And this is a passive diffuser that is there. I don't know that it's focusing on that. I think it's focusing on me. Does that help you guys? So there's a diffuser bead, a love bead in the middle of that, and I'll show you some simple ways to put things like this together. So just by putting a drop of the essential oil on there, then you have passive diffuser, and it's a fun little gift, especially if you want to give someone some oils and you're not sure if they have a diffuser that they'd plug into the wall, right? Another example of passive diffusers are reed diffusers. So they're actually just like long sticks that you put in a cute little glass jar, and you put the essential oils on the reed diffuser and it just evaporates into the air. These things are good for small spaces. So maybe someone could have a reed diffuser next to them, like at their desk, at their office, or in their work place where they work at home, right? I did some other fun ones that will be in that PDF that everybody gets at the end of the class. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, make sure that you have registered for this event too. I know some people, they're invited into the group. And so if you didn't have a chance to fill out that form and register, go to the announcements in this group and look for that link to register, because that's where we'll get the email address to send you the PDF at the end that will give you all the recipes and all the things that we're doing. So here is another fun passive diffuser, really easy to make. These are just little felted palms, and I actually bought this as a big long garland, and then I snipped them into threes, right? And used some gold thread and stitched it onto this, and then put it on a small clothespin. You could also just stitch a loop of thread on there, right? These are cute to hang on a tree, to hang off a rearview mirror, to again just hang in a space to make it festive. And then you just simply, this is holiday joy, just drip a couple drops of essential oil right on the felt balls, and it's a passive diffuser. Another really easy passive diffuser, if you ever go to a craft store, you'll see these little wood punch out. Sometimes it can be made to be three-dimensional like this one. This fit together like in this manner, right? Made it so it's three-dimensional. And again, because this is a natural substrate here, this wood, then by just dripping some essential oils onto this, this can be a passive diffuser also. Same kind of thing with cork. You could cut cork and then it would be a passive diffuser. I'm going to show you a really simple one that's really popular and cute right now. These I just bought from, I think it was Hobby Lobby. We have a Hobby Lobby that's really close. So 10 pieces was $3.99. They're little leather tassels, and they already have a split ring, which is that circle ring right there. Split ring just means it's split, right? And this nice little metal thing that hooks on. These little leather straps can be used to make a passive diffuser. And actually, since this has 2 of each color in this package, see, here's this black one, I could even hook them onto earring hooks and make, as I have my hand in the way for you guys, and just make little earrings, right? Just by opening up that hook. Now, I know that not everybody's been playing around with jewelry making and all these kinds of things like I have since you were tiny. So I just want to give a couple pointers. A lot of times when people see this little split ring and they want to try and hook it onto something else, or to, like hook the earring finding onto it, what they do is they use their pliers and they like pull the ring apart like this. And then when you try to put it back together, it just like won't quite line up, or you end up squishing your ring, right? What you want to do instead, if the ring was facing you this way, is do this with it. You want to just have it open by moving it to the side, because then it's really easy for you to crimp it shut this way again, and it won't be not a circle anymore or not be lining up, okay? So the way to do that is to actually have 2 little pliers. So you put one on one side of the split ring, and here's another little pair of pliers, and here's the other one. And what I'm going to do is make one plier kind of twist down and one plier twist up, so that, can you guys see that? I know that is so hard. Does it help when I put my hand in front? What I did was, just like I showed with my fingers, instead of taking that ring and opening it this way, which is what like we kind of think to do, I took that ring and I made one side go that direction and one side come this direction, but it's still lined up right there. So then when I want to put it back together, I'm going to be able to take my pliers, like if these were big pliers, like this, right? And go whoosh, and they're going to line back up again and still be a circle, because I'm going to be able to just compress from both sides and bring it back in to be a circle. So I hope that helps. Here's another example of a really easy passive diffuser. I was able to get this. Might have even ordered this online. They're like a bunch of little Buddha heads. Can you guys see that? I think it's better if it doesn't try to focus on me than it focuses on the thing, right? Bunch of little charms. Again, this whole thing of charms, there was probably 10 or 12 of them on there, was only a couple of dollars. And you can buy a finding like this that is a little hook on the bottom and a straight pin, right? And so all I did, just in that same way that I just showed you, was I opened up that split ring that the little Buddha head was on, and I put it right onto that hook. I just put the split ring right onto that loop that was at the bottom, right? And so then from there, it's really easy to just like take a diffuser bead and slip it on there. Or if you want it to be a little bit fancier, you could add some crystals, gemstones. This is just a glass bead, and you can add that on there. And then you just use your pliers to make a circle on the top. And here is one that's an elephant that I did that's really similar. I'll make it so you guys can see. If I get my face out of there, does it focus on that instead? Not so well. If I move it back. Now, this split ring happens to be just like the kind that you'd put your keys on. So if you've had, this kind's for your keychains, it's just a smaller one. So the nice thing about this is it now becomes something that if I gift this to somebody, they could just slip it on a chain or a necklace and wear it, right? Or they could even slip it onto a bracelet and wear it on a bracelet. But they also could put it like on a zipper pull, or they could put it on the zipper pull of a backpack or a bag. And it can also be hung like from a rear view mirror. So, or put on a keychain. Like I'll have a lot of men that will like something like this instead because it's not a piece of jewelry. This is another example of passive diffuser. It's a beaded bracelet. It's just on stretchy cord. Again, you can just buy this on Amazon or buy it at a craft store. And it just has, somewhere, I'll find it. There's just a regular knot in it, you guys. Well, and you can tell how well it's slipped into one of the other beads. I think it's this one. It's behind that bead. There's just a knot in there, and you just slip it on. And the nice thing about this is, can you see how there's these 4 lava beads all together? So if I put an essential oil on these lava beads on here, it's a passive diffuser because I can smell the aroma of what's put on there. And it also is topical. I'm absorbing it right in through the skin right here. So these are fun for anyone of any age to make. You just measure your stretchy cord to be about 2 inches longer than the wrist that you want, so that you've got room to tie the knot after you get all of your beads on there. And then it just stretches on and off. So another really fun passive diffuser I want to tell you guys about, and I did these last year and I'm doing them again this year, is these little trees. And you just cut them out of felt. And you know, this was kind of my answer to those smelly, chemical-laden car diffuser, air freshener trees that people hang from their rearview mirror. Because I had so many times where I would get into a friend or family member or a customer's car with them, or meet them to drop off oils or whatever, and they'd have one of those chemical-laden, stinky trees hanging in their car. And I'm like, no, get those chemicals out of your life. So I intentionally made the string really long because I want it to be that somebody could, if this was the bar that there's their rearview mirror, that you could take it and still loop this over the tree like this, right? And be able to have it dangle. Or some people hook it on the visor, right? So I wanted it to be long enough to be able to do that. So then you can just gift it to them inside of a little baggie. This is a self-sealable baggie. And it depends on like how great of a friend or customer or family member it is, what your budget is, all those kinds of things. You can either just gift them an essential oil to go with it, so that's your gift to them, or you can, I know I brought it down here, you can put some in a little sample bottle like this, and you can just tuck it right in the plastic bag, like maybe some holiday piece, really nice woodsy. Tuck it right in there with some little directions, and then that can be your gift to them. The other nice thing about this too is if you have friends that already have essential oils and you want to do something fun for the holidays, this will fit into a Christmas card. So that's really fun too. You might have to pay a little bit of extra postage because it's thicker, right? It's not completely flat, but it's only as wide as a piece of felt, so pretty good. And I got my pattern from a Christmas ornament that I had, so that has string wrapped all around it. So you might have some other kind of thing that you really love, like a snowflake, or maybe people in your family really like sledding or ice skating or something like that. As long as you just find a silhouette that's going to be about that, 3 to 4 inches tall kind of a thing, or wide, either way, then that can be a really fun passive diffuser. And last but not least, I always like to have there be a new way to do this, right? Because I talked about passive diffusers last year too. I was watching a gal and she made some out of that air dry clay. I just realized I left it across the room. Hold on, let me go grab it. brought everything else over here except for this. So there's a few different brands of this air dry clay. The reason why, well, I guess I should say what you want to watch out for is one, that whether it's air dry or you bake it in the oven to have it harden, that water is not going to make it workable again. That's the one thing that you're looking for. You want it to be that after it's cured or dried, that water won't make it so that you can then rework with it again, because there are some that'll do that. So I picked this one purely on price. It was the cheapest one that was at the Hobby Lobby. It's air hardening and it doesn't become workable again when it gets wet. And then I just rolled it out. I rolled it out to be pretty thin. It's even thinner than like what a cookie would be, right? And well, you guys will see the end result here. I used one of my silicone baking sheets because I wanted to make sure that it would be easy for me to get the clay back off because I was rolling it pretty thin, right? And then I took a piece of plastic wrap. I put it over the top, and I had some of this, and I tried using my rolling pin and rolling it on with the plastic wrap on there because I didn't want it to stick really badly. And what happened was the imprint wasn't very good at all. And so I took a chance and I tossed the plastic wrap because that's what I'd seen in the directions, right? I was trying to follow somebody else's directions. And I just went ahead and put this right on the top of the clay, rolling pin over the top of it. I actually had 3 of them, so I laid it on my clay kind of like this so that there'd be, pattern throughout the whole thing I had laid out. And when I pulled them back up again, you guys, the funnest thing happened. I actually was hoping to just have greenery from like outside, but all of our greenery, it's gotten super cold and freezy, and it's all gotten mushy and gross. And I don't have evergreens right here. So this was just some that I had that's silver, just that was like in the Christmas stuff. But it's kind of fun because, can you see some of the silver came off on it? Oh, come on, focus. It's like if I move further away, then does it focus on the star? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to take a picture and post it in the comments. Because it actually, oh, there you can kind of see it. Can you see how the silver kind of went into the imprinting part? Maybe a little further away. Anyways, it's super pretty. It's like, oh, maybe if I do this again, I'll get like a silver stamp pad and stamp it, and then when I roll it, it just imprinted some silver. So all of these little stars, then don't forget to do a hole, right, as it's, gosh, you guys, I'm sorry, it's harder to see than I thought it would be. I'll pick some pictures and I'll put these down in the comments so you can see. But don't forget to put a hole in there, and then this itself is a passive diffuser. And again, you can take some nice string or yarn or thread. You could even, like, it might be really fun to take something like this and you could tie it on there too. The other thing that I saw that was really cute is it was on, oh, here it is. It was on a natural string like this, and they took the natural string and they doubled it through, just like now. I'll show you really fast. They took the natural string and they doubled it through. I should have a needle to show you. So just imagine that they poked it through so it was doubled like this, and they put, you can tie a knot. Like if the star was on there already, I would tie a knot like this, maybe about 1 inch up. So then the star would hang on there like that, and then they put 3 wooden beads right there, and then they tied another knot, and that is where they then had the loop tied. So I hope you guys are visual enough to follow this. So basically it hung from here, it had 3 wooden beads, and then the star hung down from right there. And it was really cute. Like, I want to do that with this and put it hanging from my rearview mirror. The other thing that you could do with these stars, instead of having one hole right there at the top, you could put them here and here, and you could actually do like 3, where you'd maybe put a wooden bead in between, and it could hang like that. I've seen something like that too, where they've taken wire and made something that looks like a U, but with a little loop on the top. And then you have these hanging across the bottom. And again, it's a passive diffuser. So basically, if you can drip essential oils on it and then they can naturally evaporate, it's a passive diffuser. And I hope that what I've done is like sparked some ideas for you. In fact, I really hope, because I know some of you guys have other things that are passive diffusers at your homes, I really hope that you'll snap in the comments some different ideas, things that you have made or things that work for you. Now, the other thing that was advertised that we talk about is holiday blends. And I love making blends. I had the gift and the opportunity to study at Bastyr University in Washington State, and we spent so much time formulating blends, some for specific constituent balances, so they would target certain areas of support, other ones strictly for emotional and aromatic profiles, right? And so I think it is worth just spending a second on how can you make your own blends. I know that many times when people are getting started, they're a little nervous, like you're afraid you're going to do it wrong. And I think there's a really simple way to get started and feel like you've got like a back door in case you make a mistake, okay? Or I don't want to use up a whole bunch of oils and have it not smell great. So the answer to that is to just start small. If you start small and you always are tracking what you're doing, then you don't have to worry so much about, oh, am I going to like the way it smells when it ends? Because I've got a little trick to tell you at the end on how you can then kind of fix your blend if you need to, right? Okay, so what I do is I start with an empty 15 ml bottle. You can recycle one that you already have. Let's say I already know that I want to do something for Christmas, and I already know that I want it to have frankincense in it because it's for Christmas. So if I'm using an empty frankincense bottle, that's okay. On my recipe, I can just like add another 2 drops of frankincense or 1 drop of frankincense to my recipe to compensate for there being a little bit of residual in the bottle, right? And then I like to tell people to start off with working with a rule of 3. So think of 3 oils that either you want the emotional benefits for, the physical benefits for, or you think that the aroma will smell really nice together. And I think that's where we should start, because we're talking about passive diffusers and we're talking about having something that's going to be pleasing to somebody as a gift, right? So what are some of the other oils that you think of when you think of the holidays? You can put those in the comments because it'll help other people have ideas, right? So when I think of the holidays, I think of like the frankincense, I think of the smell of cinnamon, and I also think of like orange, wild orange. You know, be going, Rosie, that's not a very complicated blend. I know, stick with me, okay? Just so you can like hear about how to do the formula without it being something really complicated. So what I do is I take my piece of paper and I'll write down the names of the oils that I'm starting to work with. Tracking is really important. And I will just put 3 drops of each into that empty bottle, swirl it around. Oh, and by the way, when I'm doing this is a peppermint, but I'll show you. When I'm doing this, this is off. You've got your empty frankincense bottle in this example, and you're gonna take that orifice reducer off to do your blending. So I put in 3 drops of wild orange, 3 drops of cinnamon, and 3 drops of frankincense. Cinnamon's hot, so you don't want to get that on you undiluted, right? We're making like your master base. Then you swirl it all around, you're going to smell, and you're going to decide what you think of that. And because that cinnamon's not diluted, don't put it on, okay? You're just going to see what you think of that. If you think you might like it, And you might have hit it off on the first try. Make sure you've written that down on your paper. And then you've got 9 drops of essential oil. So if you've got cinnamon in there, you're going to want to have at least 4 times as much coconut oil in there. So just as a rule of thumb, let's just say you fill up your bottle a quarter of the way, then with some fractionated coconut oil. Then you could swirl it around. You could actually like get some out on your finger, put it on your skin, smell it there and see what that's like, right? If you don't want to be diluting it because you just want people to be able to put it directly onto their passive diffuser, then you're going to want to have it be that your cinnamon is diluted more with essential oils. So in that case, I might take my empty bottle and starting from scratch, I go, okay, I want to have cinnamon in here. And I also know that I don't want coconut oil because I only want them to be using it on their passive diffusers. So I'm going to do 1 drop of cinnamon, and I'm going to do 10 drops of frankincense, and I'm going to do 10 drops of wild orange. And then you write that all down, same process, swirl it all around, smell it, see if you like it. And with that dilution ratio where you've got 20 drops of another oil and only 1 drop of cinnamon, there's a good chance that you won't have a response on your skin. I personally wouldn't put it on my skin because I have very sensitive skin. Cinnamon for me always has to be diluted with a carrier oil. But you could tell the person, this has cinnamon in it, so it's only meant to go right on your passive diffuser. Having said that, doTERRA is masterful at their blends. You guys, like it is fun to make your own blends and it's fun to play around with it. It's especially fun when you're talking about like one that's going to be for a calming. Maybe if you've got some Roman chamomile and some bergamot and frankincense in there, right? But doTERRA's got some really great blends already. Like you don't have to mix up your own. You can use Holiday Joy. You can use Holiday Peace. You can use the Adaptive blend. You can gift somebody any one of the Emotions blends that doTERRA already has, and you don't necessarily have to mix up your own blends. But I did want to give you a basic way to get started with it if it's something you haven't done before. And then once you get your recipe perfected, you can just increase the amount that's in there in your 15 ml bottle. And then you can give your friends maybe 15 or 20 drops of your custom blend that you've made up. And you can just gift it to them with that passive diffuser that you're giving them. Okay, I hope that this helps. And I'm going to check the comments for anything that I can answer for you guys really quick. Oh, Jennifer, I love that. I didn't bring any gemstones with me, but I do love also adding real gemstones too, especially on things where people are going to be hanging it in their work or their living space or in their car or something like that's really fun. Oh, that's so fun that you put it on your tree. Oh, do you know what else I was going to have in here for you guys to see? A pine cone can be a beautiful passive diffuser. All you need to do is take some of this natural twine and make it so you can hang the pine cone, and it's an amazing passive diffuser, and it's really cute on a tree too, right? Oh, good. I'm glad you can see the silver. I'll put a picture in there too. Okay, I think I've covered all the questions, right? So fun. All right, you guys, if there's any other questions, you're catching the recording later on, just pop them in there. If you tag me, then it'll notify me even sooner, I think. I don't know. I don't understand how Facebook works anymore. Notifications don't work the way they used to. But even on YouTube, post in the comments. I'll check back and make sure that we're getting all the questions answered. And we can't wait to see you in our next class too. See you later.